Right now at noon, twisters tear through central Oklahoma overnight.
An outflow from those storms gave us our morning storms. We've got one going on right now, and we're tracking the possibility of more showers and storms later this evening. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
And Kansas City, Missouri becomes a sanctuary city for the trans community in the Show Me State.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A May storm system produced a number of tornadoes in central Oklahoma overnight, along with strong wind gusts that blew through the 4 states. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, twisters ripped through Oklahoma, causing damage in parts of the state south of the Oklahoma City metro. Both Cleveland and McLean counties are cleaning up today, specifically in Goldsby and in Noble, Oklahoma. Now, last night, several school districts canceled their evening activities due to the possibility of severe weather. Now, the same area is expected to see another round of severe storms today. And Chris Warner joins us with what we can expect here in the 4 states.
Yeah, we've had some cloudy skies out there, then we've had some sunshine, then we go back to cloudy skies, and we were expecting some thunderstorms out in parts of southeast Kansas, and we got them, but they very quickly became one cell that's been very slowly moving across northern Crawford County, now entering southern Bourbon County. You can see the cloudy skies, our camera at 7th in range line, and the MoDOT camera at 32nd in range line, and from the KDOT camera, which unless everybody's just stopped, I think is frozen, but it's still been cloudy out there across the area, and we've had variable cloudiness across the entire region. And then we've got this guy here, this little storm that was part of a bigger set that rolled right on through Crawford County, really taking its time, and it is now right on top of the Fort Scott area, and it is continuing to move off. Now, it's had some small hail here and there, but it's not reached severe limits. And in fact, despite this morning's shock and awe campaign for Mother Nature, we had only 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. That was very early on for Washington and the Newada counties in northeast Oklahoma. The rest of these storms, when they rolled through, they were strong, but they were just under severe criteria, and they put down quite a light show, though. We had a lot of lightning with these storms. They were very electrical. Now, we're continuing to monitor our severe risk as we head into the evening and late evening hours across the area. We still have a low-end tornado risk for the counties highlighted in brown. And that elevated hail and wind risk continues across a good portion of the area as well. So something we're definitely keeping an eye on. Started yesterday at 65. So above average, and made it up to 80, still above average, but not at records. Right now, we've got 78 in Joplin, 74 in Pittsburgh, 78 Parsons, and 78 Miami, 79 Neosho. Here's a quick look at what we're tracking. Still watching the possibility of those strong to severe thunderstorms later today. These rain chances continue into the Mother's Day weekend, and then temperatures, they're going to cool down. They won't be cold, but they're going to be cooler next week. We'll talk about all that here in a few more minutes. Tanya?
Mother's Day is this Sunday, and if you still haven't figured out what to get the most important woman in your life, chances are you're going to spend some money, and chances are you're not alone. Americans are spending big for Mother's Day. The most popular gifts are flowers and cards. Local nurseries like In the Garden have been gearing up for the big weekend. They started growing their massive hanging bouquets in January specifically for Mother's Day. The National Retail Association and Prosper Insights and Analytics says Sunday should set a new record. They predict consumers will shell out $35.7 billion for Mom. That's nearly $4 billion more than last year's record high. With so many flowers in bloom, nursery owners hope finding the perfect gift for Mom, Grandma, and your wife can be a one-stop shop.
So traditionally for a garden center, Mother's Day is going to be the busiest week and weekend of the year. So it's really a make or break time for a garden center.
Harrison says they stay open normal hours on Mother's Day for those last minute shoppers. Kansas City is now a sanctuary city for the trans community. Mayor Quentin Lucas signed an ordinance that pushes back against some of the bills recently passed at the state level. However, Mark Palouse shows us why the state may still get its way.
This is just about right and wrong. And it's right to support your fellow people.
By an 11-1 vote, the City Council approved a resolution to make KC a sanctuary city for the trans community.
We're not giving up a fight for people. We're not going to be scared to stand up for people because it's never wrong to stand up for people.
The resolution comes at a time when some trans rights are in the crosshairs of the state government. Governor Mike Parson is expected to sign bills into law that would restrict minors' access to gender-affirming care, as well as a ban on transgender women competing in female sports.
To be in Kansas City, Missouri is to mean that you are in a city that accepts, promotes, and supports the rights of trans people. And I think that's something that's powerful.
Heather Hall, who represents the 1st District, was the lone council member to vote against the resolution.
People pay their tax dollars for us to do a very few things. Trash, snow removal, potholes, sidewalks. They do not tell us to do social issues at the municipal level.
Members of the trans community were at City Hall to see the resolution get signed. We talked to the head of the LGBTQ Housing Commission, who told us the city made the right decision.
If the city chooses to say that we're not going to discriminate, that's the right thing to do. We're just like everybody else. I mow my lawn, I garden, I grow tomatoes. We're just normal folks like everyone else.
Critics of the resolution doubt its enforceability. Mayor Lucas says he's going to forward a letter to the Police Board of Commissioners, asking them to follow the policy adopted by the City Council.
There are a lot of priorities for the Kansas City Police Department. A priority for the Kansas City Police Department is not standing between patients and their physician, is not standing between decisions that are made by families.
With pandemic-related asylum restrictions now lifted, thousands of migrants are waiting along the southern border to enter the U.S. Biden administration officials say they need to secure the border but also have compassion for the migrants. But Republican Senator Ted Cruz is calling it an invasion. Overnight, a federal judge in Florida temporarily blocked the Biden administration's policy of releasing some migrants without court notices, an effort to reduce crowding in Border Patrol facilities. Border Patrol authorities say they will now lean on protocols outlined by the decades-old Title VIII, under which migrants can be deported from the United States back to their home countries and given a 5-year ban on re-entry unless they express fear of returning and pass an interview. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at Noon, we meet a military mom who's helping other military moms find stable work that moves with their mobile lifestyle. And later, we're making chocolate peanut butter twist in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, as millions are preparing to celebrate Mother's Day this weekend, a new survey from the job site Indeed finds more than 90% of stay-at-home moms have either experienced or anticipate experiencing challenges when they try to re-enter the workforce. 73% say they've experienced bias in the hiring process, with the top challenges as the resume gap and finding a job with flexibility. Well, for military moms who are constantly on the move, the struggle to find work is even harder. Chip Reed introduces us to one mom who became an accidental CEO.
You can't look down.
A few years ago, Michelle Penzak was in a tough spot.
Your husband was deployed, you were pregnant, and you couldn't find a job.
It's a bad country song is kind of what I like to say.
Couldn't find a job because military spouses move so often.
I felt like I was being judged just because of my husband's choice of career.
So she started her own company, Squared Away, which hires people like her to assist other companies online.
As a military spouse and mom, you are managing calendars, you are balancing everybody's activities. And if you can handle that, I guarantee that you can handle working with a few CEOs and their teams.
Business is booming. Last month, nearly 200 employees brought in $500,000.
It felt too good to be true.
For military spouse Sarah Glover, her job at Squared Away was a godsend.
Sometimes I was going on 15, 20 interviews, and it wasn't an issue of my qualifications or my education. It was the fact that I can't be permanent.
And what does she think about the boss?
I call her Wonder Woman, and I mean it wholeheartedly.
A Wonder Woman who understands the unique powers of military moms. Chip Reed, CBS News, Washington.
Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
Looking for a new twist to share with mom this Sunday? No worries, we've got you covered.
But first, we're continuing to track some evening thunderstorm chances. We'll take a look at that, plus our weekend rain chances when the KOAM News at Noon returns. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So we were expecting some thunderstorms in southeast Kansas through the late morning hours, and they did begin to fire up, but they ultimately congealed into one cell that spent a lot of time over Crawford County before it finally began to move into parts of Bourbon County, and now it's rolling off into Vernon County. But as you can see, it continues to weaken, and it wasn't anything too terribly strong to begin with. There was occasionally some small hail on radar, but that was really about it, and it is really beginning to wind down as it heads toward Nevada. So let's take a look where that all started. There were different spots across different parts of southeast Kansas late this morning, but this is the batch that took off, and it all merged together, and it dropped some, again, much needed rain on parts of Crawford County and into Bourbon County, now into Vernon County, but just didn't take off anywhere. But we still have additional storm chances, especially across southeast Kansas, as we head into tonight. So here we are about 6 o'clock, start to see some of these scattered showers and thunderstorms building around the area and into southeast Kansas. Look at 8 o'clock temperatures out to the west, still sitting in the low 80s. These thunderstorms, there's a couple of different plays that go with these. This particular one shows them kind of dying out as they reach extreme southeastern Kansas. Others have them holding on and continuing to roll into southwest Missouri. So it's one of those situations that we'll have to monitor it very closely and see exactly which scenario plays out. And any of those that do happen this evening, as we've mentioned, could be strong to severe. So that's something else we'll keep an eye on for you. We go into tomorrow morning. We're near 70 as we kick off the day. By noon, we're pushing upper 70s, near 80 degrees. And as we go through the majority of our Saturday, we're going to spend it partly to mostly cloudy, and then later in the evening, down to the south, we're going to see showers and thunderstorms begin to develop, and these will lift off to the north. Here we are at 9, where they're lined up just right along the I-44 corridor, and they'll continue to press off to the north and be scattered. Some of southeast Kansas, though, again, the areas that really need the rain are looking to get some of the most rain as we go through the overnight hours on Saturday into early Sunday morning, where we could see a few lingering showers. Talking about our severe threat, we talked about it earlier. It went up to an elevated level, and that has not changed since this morning. We have a low-end tornado risk across the area we'll keep an eye on. And then we've got the elevated hail risk for some large damaging hail and an elevated wind risk for damaging wind gusts. So again, all of that contingent on the various scenarios that could play out later today. A lot of it dependent on how much sunshine we get and how much fuel we can get in there as well. Here's our camera at 7th and Rangeline. We had sunshine earlier in Joplin. It's gone away again, and you can see those cloudy skies from the MoDOT camera at 32nd and Rangeline as well. And as we look at the KDOT camera, 69 and 400, still cloudy skies. So we've had sunshine here and there, and then it goes back away. So it's going to just be dependent on what happens. But it's been enough. We're at 78 in Joplin, feels like 80. So we got a dew point of 67, humidity 68%, so they're up there. South-southwest breeze at 15, gusting to 25. Over into Pittsburgh at the cloudy skies, 74, so cooler, but the dew point higher, 71, humidity 88%, south breeze at 3. Quick look at temperatures around the region. We got 69 in Fort Scott, 78 Parsons, 77 Chautauqua, 78 Miami, 79 in Neosho, 78 in Carthage. So we've got all these varying temperatures across the area, and again, that's all playing into this couple of different scenarios that could play out as we head into tonight. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast. We'll have some evening storms for Saturday we talked about. 82 on Mother's Day, and we'll have pop-up storms throughout the day, and we'll see that repeat again on Monday, still upper 70s. Then we cool down for a little bit, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures cool off in the middle of next week. Then they return to the 80s as we head toward the end of next week with some additional shower and thunderstorm chances across the area. So we've said it 100 times now, we absolutely need this rain. We know we need this rain. We just don't need that attendant severe threat, but unfortunately, we're now getting into the peak of severe weather season, so these rain chances do come with a little caveat.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, well, temperatures aren't too bad. I mean, get them back down into the 70s. We'll work on that.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, we'll take it. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making chocolate peanut butter twist in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, today we're making a rise and shine pastry that pairs perfectly with a morning cup of joe, and it's a dish pretty enough to serve a special brunch. We're making chocolate peanut butter twist in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Over the years here in the Test Kitchen, we've shared all sorts of ideas to make Mom feel special on Mother's Day. We've helped you make her breakfast in bed, shown you how to take the stress off of her at dinner time, and on and on. This year, we're making a Rise and Shine pastry that she can enjoy with her morning coffee that, well, let's just say it has a twist to it. We start by placing 2 sheets of frozen puff pastry that we've thawed on a cutting board. We spread one of them with a chocolate peanut butter spread. After that, we sprinkle it with some chopped peanuts. This is gonna be good. Next, we flip the other sheet of dough over the nuts and cut it lengthwise into 1/2-inch strips. For the twist, we grab each end of a strip and gently twist it, like this. Now we roll each one up and place them on a baking sheet. After tucking in the ends and topping it with some melted butter and sugar, we bake them off. When these come out of the oven, they look so good, it's hard to believe how easy they were to make. But the true test comes when you serve these to Mom. To get the recipe for our chocolate peanut butter twists, simply visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, wishing our moms and all moms a Mother's Day filled with lots of, ooh, it's so good.
This looks tasty. You can find this recipe, along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
All right, we've got that possibility for strong, possibly severe thunderstorms for at least some of us as we head into the late evening hours across the area. More evening storms tomorrow, but not expecting any severe weather out of that. Pop-up storms for Mother's Day and into Monday, and then we'll turn partly cloudy and temperatures will cool back for a bit as we head in the middle of next week. Toward the end of next week, temperatures warm right back up, and we see additional thunderstorm chances by next Friday and Saturday.
All right, what do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, at 5 in Health Watch, a sister's sacrifice to save her brother. This 26-year-old suffers from a rare liver disease. He received a life-saving gift, a transplant from his own sister, who turned out to be a perfect blood match. Now their mom gets to celebrate a special Mother's Day. That story in Health Watch. Plus, the Joplin City Council is going to discuss the possibility of banning shooters or those little mini alcohol bottles. And the Osho High seniors that continues their tradition of painting the hill. Tradition that's going on for decades. We're going to show you. You join us, KOAM News at 5.
All right, thank you, Dow. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.